Are you developing full-stack applications in Java? If you're looking for an alternate and simpler way to develop your applications, this video is for you. Hi, Marcio from Objectos. Welcome back to the Objectos Way in a single file video series. At the end of episode number 2, I left you with this image. Anyways, the question was, how can I do the same thing using Objectos Way? I have here the current iteration of our Objectos Way application. I already did some organizing and refactoring. Apart from that, we'll leave our homepage as it is and we'll add a new page to showcase these features. Let's add a route for that, as it will showcase the Objectos HTML features. That's how we're gonna name it. And we use our homepage as a starting point. Right, so first thing, how do we handle template variables in Objectos Way? For example, suppose we want the page to display the name we get as a query parameter. Well, everything here is in Java, so template variable is a regular Java variable. For instance, let's declare it as an instance variable. Sorry. Let's say name. Yes. And let's say template variables, and we say hello name, and that's it. Of course, now we have to update our controller, and we want to get it as a query parameter named name. It can be null, so if it's null, let's say please specify a name query parameter, and this is our message. It could be just a meter anyway, and we return. Otherwise, we got our name and we pass it via the constructor. Right, let's test it. Right, there was a version bump of Objectos Way, and the makefile automatically updated. Cool, right? Anyway, the command is just this single command to run the application, and it's already started. So let's go to localhost 8080. This is our home page, and the page we want is Objectos HTML. We didn't specify the name query parameter, so we went to the bad request. Let's say Marcio, and here it is. Let me increase the font size maybe. Let's say Objectos Way. Let's say script. Let's say frame source equal danger. Cool, right? We can see properly escapes characters before rendering to the HTML. Right. So what if we want the name to be in bold, or for styling reasons you wanted to wrap it in a div or in a span or something? Then we must first wrap the text in a text node and the name in a strong tag. Right, before we test it, let's jump right into the second point, which is conditional rendering. So let's add a second instance variable here. Let's say show, and sorry, it's easier if we do like this. So conditional rendering. If show is true, let's print a message like I'm shown. If not, we show nothing. Once again, we need to update our controller. So the name of our required parameter will be show. And sorry, it's easier if we do like this. If on equals our show parameter, then this will be our show variable, and we pass it through the constructor. Let's test it. We need to restart the application, which, by the way, in regular Objectos Way development, there's a dev mode. So we don't need to restart the application, but since this is a single file, we'll have to restart it. Anyways, let's see. So conditional rendering, we did not specify. Before that, we can see it is in bold. Let me put a proper name here. It is in bold. And let's add the show variable, right? And if it's on, it's shown. If it's off, it doesn't show anything. Actually, if it's anything else, it doesn't show, right? But let's leave it on for now. And as a final point, let's see loops and iteration. So let's add a third and final instance variable here. Once again, let's say count. And we're showcasing loops and iteration. We want to show a list and an order list with as many items as the count variable. So an order list, of course, we cannot write for a first statement here, like so. Objectos HTML offers the F instruction, which is short for fragment. Let me put in the middle of the screen, and we'll say that the fragment will be the render items method. And in the render item method, we can just so for as many times as there is a count, we just print Objectos Way school, or in this case in particular Objectos HTML. Anyways, right, let's test it again. Right, I forgot to update the controller. And so Objectos Way offers a convenience method if the parameter is an int. Let's say count, and default value we want 1. Now an integer parameter can still be negative. Let's not handle negative values, right? And if it's negative, we'll just we'll leave it as 1. And we'll pass the count variable as in the constructor. Now, let's properly run it. And we run it again. And by default is 1. let's see, count equals 3 or 20. Let me reduce the font size. And if it's minus 10, it should default to 1. And if it's full, which cannot be parsed into an int, it defaults to 1 as well. Anyway, let's leave it at 3. And by the way, we could have used the f instruction for the conditional rendering as well. But a proper application should look nice, maybe, right? And not to worry, because Objectos Way ships with Objectos CSS, which is a CSS engine heavily inspired by Tailwind CSS. But that will be the subject of our next video in this series. Cool, right? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you spark your interest in Objectos Way. All the code will be available on GitHub. And that's it. As usual, hope you learned something new, something interesting. And see you next video. Bye.